Something I realized today when I was walking here, working on my social skills and approaching people, or approaching some people, is that especially when you're coming from the culture of sales or cold approach, there's often like this really pressure to perform and do the next rep, talk to the next person. And what I realized today is after some time, I think this pressure actually holds you back because you never get to really develop yourself normally. When you are speaking to people normally, you're not dealing with this pressure, right? So you have to kind of learn in your interactions to just calm down and come from a place of calm and groundedness. Whereas, let's say in sales or in cold approach, if you are put too much pressure on yourself to do the next rep, talk to the next person, do the next call, like you're gonna do that call with a lot of built up emotions and pressure in your body. And in a way, this can be good because you learn to deal with things. But in another way, it's not good because you never learn to socialize or communicate in like a normal way, right? That's not normal to have that much pent up emotion and that much pent up pressure when you're talking to people or when you're doing the next call. So it can be good sometimes for volume, but if you really want to have high quality interactions, you want to learn again to be more aware of that and to actually let that go a little bit, let that pressure go. That doesn't mean that when you are in sales, when you're making a call, or when you're practicing your social skills, or when you're going out, it doesn't mean don't try new things. It doesn't mean don't challenge yourself. It just means keep it cool. Come from a grounded place and ask yourself, the way I am challenging myself, like the thing that I'm going to do, is that going to be normal or is that going to be weird? And if you're too much into philosophy, you might be like, well, what does it matter if I'm weird? Like, that's just the perception of other people, right? You could think about that. But that doesn't really, it's not a normal way of interacting. So oftentimes just being normal doesn't always have to mean that you have to copy other people. It just means that you have to come from a grounded place. That there can't be like too much pressure internally. That's basically what it is. Or at least that's a big part of it. Imagine when you are going out, when you want to meet someone new, and you're like really trying to force, and that's normal, by the way, especially if you're starting. If you're really trying to force that, but it's good for learning, but it doesn't really calibrate it, and it's not good for yourself in the long term, for your psyche. That you almost put yourself in that state. You have to learn to operate from a place of quality, from a place of calm, and from a place of strength, right? And strength, my belief is strength can't really come if you never give yourself enough space, enough rest, and things like that. There's of course a strength that comes when you really challenge yourself, when you're dealing with a tough time. There's a certain strength that comes from that. But the same person, let's say you put someone in like a really stressful situation for several months or a year, or let's talk maybe even about a war. Like if you're in a war, that's going to certainly build a inner strength, right? But at the same time, it's going to destroy you. It's not going to be healthy for you. So, but you have to put it in perspective. I'm not saying don't challenge yourself, because you can develop inner strength that way, and you will. But the other part is like you have to come also from a place of rest and a place of like quality, right? And if you put yourself in too much trouble all the time, you don't really have a quality direction. You don't really have a quality life. You don't really have a quality business or a quality relationship or a quality social life if you always make it that difficult. You never give yourself room to flourish. So that's why I think this is important. Like I watched a video also about, now I know this is a little bit more sales, but you know, a lot of the sales guys, like when they start, and as entrepreneurs in general, when they start, it's like, you know, really the hustle mindset, right? We have to like challenge and be there and do work 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day. And you know, that does build a lot of power and resilience. But at the same time, again, at a certain point, like many people burn out, and eventually everyone realizes that you can't maintain that. And also it's probably not a great strategy for the long term, and it's just not a good way to live your life. Maybe for a period, like I think it can be good, but you know, even let's say even Elon Musk or someone who is like really like always on the go, like always have a mission, you still need a good long-term strategy. Like if Elon Musk were to, you know, put himself into pressure like every day, 18 hours a day, no sleep, and he wouldn't be able to maintain that. He probably did that, and he did do that for much longer than normally, but he's still human. Everyone is still human. So you need to think about your long-term strategy first of all, but also just, maybe this is just my perspective, but I think you need also to come from a place where you can flourish, where you can actually build a kingdom and not just do war all the time. I think you need to do both, but the danger, like if you're stuck too much into self-improvement or stuck too much into hustle, is that you're always trying to grind, you're always trying to make war. And you're not becoming a grounded, stable man, stable human being, or a stable woman that way. So give yourself space to flourish, lower your anxiety, and come from a place where you can just be yourself and feel good. That's the message of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my next video if you want. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.